Welcome to the first episode of our How to Discuss in an Interview series. So what we'll do in these videos is try to pick out a key topic of the week, or ideally one of the ones we've selected as a key interview topic, and align it with a key term here, and then explain how it can be discussed in an interview situation. As you can see here, our plan will basically be to start by defining the key term, then go into the context of the key points of the story, followed by the impact on stakeholders. So how does this impact the business? How does this impact the investors? And finally, we'll go into the future developments. So what can we expect for the future of a story? We'll start by defining the key term here. So revenue streams, the various sources from which a business earns money from the sale of goods or the provision of services. And we've chosen this term because we think it's essential. We've seen in the modern business world that a lot of companies such as Apple, for example, or Google are expanding their revenue streams. They're trying to find new areas from which to bring in profits. So we've seen Apple with Apple TV, for example, or also Google has started its new gaming platform. And basically, if you can have new revenue streams which are successful, you'll obviously have greater profits for your business. And this is exactly what Snapchat is trying to do here. We'll start by going through the context, so the key facts of the story. Snap announced the new Snap Games platform at its first ever press event. And the reason behind it doing this is that in 2017, Tencent, a Chinese gaming giant, bought a 12% stake into the company and has basically pushed for this move to happen. The benefit of doing this is that Snap will try to enhance its user revenue and engagement from selling games, ads, and in-game purchases. But where does the revenue come from? So the Snapchat will let users opt in to watching 6 seconds unskippable commercials that reward them with a power-up or a bonus in-game currency. And Snap is also quite confident about this move because the combination of a popular chat app with a gaming platform has already successfully been proven by Facebook Messenger, for example. Another point here you'd like to consider in your interview is identifying what Snap's strong points are. So why could this move be successful? We've identified 3 here, and the first one is the prime demographic. In the US, for example, Snapchat reaches 75% of all the age group between 13 and 34-year-olds. So that's an outstanding demographic to work with. And regardless of its competition, because obviously there's Instagram, there's Facebook and all these popular social media, it still maintains a very high level of engagement. So that will be a very useful point when it actually applies these games. And finally, help from Tencent. So this is a gaming giant. It has experience in this sector. It has a lot of capital they can invest in and a lot of games it can apply to the Snapchat format. So this, we think, is another factor which could lead to success in this move. We'll then consider the impact on stakeholders. So this is always a very important factor when you're discussing a topic in an interview. And our first one is increased profits. And we've put a question mark here because we do believe that there could be an increase in profits, but this all comes down to how successful the new move is really. So will the video ads be enough? And we've also considered the possibility of in-app purchases, for example, to drive up profits even more. But then following on from this is the factor of competition. So how does the market react to this possible move? As we've identified before, Messenger is a very popular, very used app, and all its games are also very popular with its users. So could this possibly affect Snapchat's ability to reap in profits? And also there's a limited line of games, so if no new ones are introduced, they could get old quickly, and this could drive engagement and consequently profits down. Finally, we would advise to consider the business side. So as we've mentioned before, there's this shift to the gaming world, to the entertainment side of the market. So we've got Apple also investing into its gaming with Apple Arcade, and also Google doing the same. So what does this tell us about business? And this is where you can apply your own view to it. So what do you think could happen? And by doing this, you show that you understand the news and you're able to discuss it confidently and applying your own thoughts, which obviously will be important because we need to consider why all these big companies are moving into this entertainment and gaming business. And then we'll have to consider the future developments. So what could the future bring basically? And the big question here is, will this move be enough to drive profits up? Will it be a successful move? Our possible answer is yes. Snapchat is very popular, and we think this gaming platform could be very popular between friends. And also, say you're texting someone, you're waiting for a reply, you may access the game and play it while you're waiting, for example. So we do see a potential for user there. And as we've seen before, this platform and this type of move has already been successfully proven by Messenger. So there are elements to be confident about. So to finish off, we'd like to give you some suggested reading. We think this will allow you to obviously increase your knowledge of the story and understand a bit more what's going on. The first one we'd suggest is TechCrunch's article. It's very good. It just shows, big overview of the news. Also Forbes one, very good. Just quite clear, really, and just goes from the reasons why Snap is doing this to what potential it could have. And finally, we'd also consider Snap's news page, where they basically have an announcement of the whole move and they're explaining what brought them to do it and what they see as a potential in the future. So that's obviously, all these are the ones we suggest, but do look in more, keep reading, because at the end of the day, that's what will allow you to increase your commercial awareness even more. And finally, a possible question is, what does Snap's move tell us about modern tech business? So obviously this is left quite broad, but I think this is important to try and think, about business, what's going on in the bigger picture, not just Snap. Snap is, an element of this, but what does it show us about all this overall business and this movement towards gaming and entertainment? And I think this will allow you to think more commercially, and ideally we hope this will help you then discuss it with more confidence if you were to bring it up in an interview situation. So do sign up to our newsletter if you want. You'll have our weekly briefing and our top interview topics of the week straight to your inbox. Follow us on our social media to get our updates straight to your timeline. Always, we're here to help and try and make commercial awareness simple, and we do hope this helped. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Let us know and we'll be more than happy to answer them. And I'll see you at the next episode. Thank you very much.